Yes, greetings to you, family. I always like to say, in the best of salutations, there are five: patience, prayer, power, peace, and prosperity. This is a project that Adrian and I are doing. Uh, we want to call this as real as it gets, you know. And as real as it gets, what it's all about really is making history. It is a making of history for ourselves, history that be him and I. My name is Kevin. Some call me Walimu Swahili for teacher. So, what I like to say that I teach is not only reverence from the womb that which gave one birth, because one of the most powerful reproduction systems to me is or system is the reproduction system, and that which is from the woman. So yes, as real as it gets, man. Adrian himself is the photographer, and he is the one that's doing the recording. Yes, one thing I realize in the society in which we live is that there is a lot of grandstanding, self aggrandizement, and a lot of insecurities, as well as uncertainties in the society. And when there is insecurities and uncertainties in the societies which we live, people try to make up for it in a manner, in a way that can cause more harm than good. We live in a society whereas that the those who control the means of productivity, media, press, and television, and the masses of people come to them and trust them for their guidance, their information, and their advice. Individuals like myself, who may not be in the mainstream of society, or others may be like Adrian himself, you may not want to listen to them because of it has not been accepted by the larger society. I remember Dr. King said something in regards to talking about poor people. He said something, and then when President Johnson said something, it had more so of a halo of respectability. We tend to admire and revere things that are distant from us. For example, we look at the people who may sing beautiful songs, and we don't know them, but we admire and revere them. We tend to maybe cry more for them and have more emotional gravitational pull toward them, and it takes from the emotional gravitational pull and admiration and respect for those who are closest among us, so all things are proximity to me. you know this environment or this universe says to us that we must learn to coexist with one another. If we don't learn to coexist with one another, then we will perish, as acting and behavior as fools. That's why it says you never put a fool in a position of power people will start thinking it's the model to follow, you know. But what is a following? A following is an exemplary act that you set, you know. And and setting that model, it creates an environment, as a Islamic term called ummah, you know, a community. Not to mention, in that community, you tend to cultivate the potential, the resources, the talents, the gifts, and the skills of all those who are a part of that community. You know, and you can have all the organization in the world, but you must first have cooperation. That's why I've come to learn to know that adequate cooperation leads to proper communication, and that's how you effectively coordinate your power. You know, the late Dr. Du Bois said that, I'm paraphrasing what he says about the interruption of how we do business with one another. You know, how we do business with one another has been interrupted. You know, when it comes to colonialism and the enslavement of a people. You know, and then Kwame Ture talked about that too, the evolutionary process from tribe to clan uh, to continental people. I can't recall the exact stages of it, of the evolutionary process. But it makes the connection almost sound like unto perfection, you know, each stage of one's life you want to perfect. But when that stage of one's life has been interrupted and someone else comes in to fill the void, and if the void is empty, they will come in and fill that void as like a neurological transmitter that had been disconnected, and you connect them back into the wrong source. And therefore it creates a chemical unbalance, you see. I think Chinka Diop talked about the that which is different is climatic, you know, environment. And we look at, you know, what has major influences over the environment, government, community, leadership, culture, religion, and business, you know. So, but needless to say, man, we must continue, man, to do our best to be the best human being that we can. By doing so, we must first establish the human person, you know, the human person, the individual, you know, because the person in the Latin sense of the word means that through which sound is made, you know, because that means before there is motion, there is sound, meaning that your word must become your bond, you know, and that is a sense of integrity, you know. And we continue to bond and coexist with one another in the best of ways, yeah, see. But yes, in that integrity, you know, we have to deal with the dignity. And when